Hello friends, welcome to my channel Learn and Study Lesson Plans for Teachers. Today in this video we will see learning assessment notes on classification of assessment, scope and attribute, measure, nature of information gathered and mode of response and nature of interpretation context. What is meant by classification of assessment? There are four types of assessment, namely prognostic, diagnostic, formative and summative. There are distinct differences between the four. At the first, prognostic assessment expands the finding of assessment with analysis of abilities and potentials with a further dimension. The further development of concerned person as well as the necessary conditions, time frame and limits. Now we will see the goals of prognostic personality and abilities of assessment. If needed, a comparison with a job description and profile of a requirements. Basic conditions and needs for the development, how it can be enhanced and enriched. Period, how long the development will take until the defined goals can be reached. Limit of developmental possibilities, either referring to the defined goals or generally with a realistic time frame of 3 to 5 years. Quality assurance and sustainability, and how the results can be monitored and ensured in the long term. Meaning of diagnostic assessment. It can help you in identify your students' current knowledge of subject, their skill set and capabilities, and to clarify misconceptions before teaching taking place. Knowing students' strengths and weaknesses can help you better plan what to teach and how to teach it. There are different types of diagnostic assessments, namely pretest, self-assessment, discussion board response, and interviews. In the next, formative assessment. It provides the feedback and information during the instructional process while learning is taking place and while learning is occurring. It measures students' progress, but it can also assess your own progress as an instructor. There are different types of formative assessment. Observation during in-class activities, homework exercises as review for exams and class discussions, reflections journals that are reviewed periodically during the semester, in-class activities where students informally present the results, students' feedback collected periodically. And the next, summative assessment. It takes place after the learning has been completed and provides information and feedback that sum up the teaching and learning process. Typically, no more formal learning is taking place through the completion of project and assignments. There are different types of summative assessment. There are examinations, final examination, term papers, projects and portfolios, student evaluation of course, instructor self-evaluation. Teacher-made versus standardized assessment. Teacher-made assessments are constructed by an individual teacher or a group of teachers in order to measure the outcome of classroom instruction. Whereas the standardized assessment, on the other hand, are commercially prepared and have uniform procedures for administration or scoring. They are meant for gathering information on large group of students in multiple settings. The main differences between the teacher-made assessment and standardized assessment is made by teachers who may not know very well the principles of test construction, whereas in standardized assessment, generally prepared specialists who know very well the principles of test constructions. In the teachers-made assessment, often prepared periodically and haphazardly to be able to meet the deadlines for administration, whereas standardized assessment prepared very careful following principles test constructions. In the teachers made assessment may be objectives and may easy, in which case scoring is subjective. In the standardized assessment, generally they are very objective, very high in objectives. In the teachers made assessment, generally measures subject achievements only. Whereas in the standardized assessment, measures intake capacities and characteristics are as achievements. And the next, attribute measures. Achievement. Academic performance should be measured in multiple manners and methods such as teacher observation, benchmark assessment, student portfolio, rubrics, progress monitoring tools, standardized assessment, and other local assessments. Whereas in aptitude, the term intelligence, ability, and aptitude are often used interchangeable to refer to behavior that is used to predict future learning or performance. However, slight difference exists between the terms. How can one improve aptitude? Tests such as the scholastic aptitude test contain many questions that are content specific, particularly in maths area. Educational efforts to improve aptitude need to be long term. Abilities of students and methods of training interact. Attempts to train strategies must fit the test aptitude of students. Intrinsic training may be harmful to high aptitude students. And the next, attitude. Our response to an object is often in line with what we believe about and how we feel towards that object. Attitudes are thus said to have a knowledge, belief components, an emotional and affective component, and cognitive and behavioral components. And the nature of information gathered by qualitative research, quantitative research, and context by internal and external. Internal assessment is a set of marks by a student get the mark and feedback regarding the assessment, whereas in external assessment is set by governing body and is marked by non-biased personnel. It gives much more limited feedback in their marking.